Hey everybody, welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada. And you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. Welcome to the last Saturday before Christmas. I'm sure everybody is crazy busy. I went and did the last of my Christmas shopping yesterday. Had to get a few stocking stuffers, and it was crazy. So hopefully you're not in the malls today. Hopefully you're more prepared than I was, leaving some things to the last minute. I just have wrapping left to do. So hopefully you're getting ready as well. And maybe spend a little bit of time, if you can, in your craft room. It's always nice to kind of just take a break from all of the craziness that happens around the holiday season. Today I'm going to share a sneak peek from the upcoming January to April mini catalog called Sunshine and Tulips. It's been rainy here for the last few days and they're even threatening snow, so this one kind of makes me smile because I love tulips and I can't wait for spring. So I thought I would share a sneak peek from this bundle that will be available starting on January 6th in my online store. All right, let's get started. So this is the bundle. Let me see. It comes with a beautiful stamp set with lots of sentiments and just a few images because the dies are really the star of the show for this bundle. I love this row of tulips and lots of great sentiments for all sorts of different occasions. And then the dies, there are more dies than that. I think I've got them all out, to be honest. Yeah, I do. All right, so there is one large die that will cut. Let me show you what it cuts out. It's very cool. It cuts out an image like this, so you don't even have to cut the cardstock before you cut it. It just cuts the rectangle perfectly, does that lovely little stitched edge, and then cuts all the tulips out. And then these leaves you can pop forward. And the cool thing is you also get a ton of little tulips that you can use. So I've cut this out. I have all my tulips. I'm not using the yellow tulips, so I'm using Timid Tiger tulips. So I've put all of my extra pieces that I cut out into my case so that I can use them for the next time. And then I went and cut a second set out, and I'm using these Timid Tiger tulips, so that piece will go in there for another card. Okay, so it's very cool die. And then you get all of these dies that cut out. Let me bring them in. Now I will say this is one set of dies that you really want to use adhesive sheets for, because they are pretty tiny and pretty small, and I'm going to be very sorry that I didn't. So you get 3 of these that cut out a very delicate border of a tulip, and you get 3 that cut out again a nice border of a leaf, and then 2 that cut out the solid part of a leaf. I love it when they give you extras so you're not having to cut so many. You can put 3 in on a piece of cardstock and cut them all at once. And then 1 label that will fit the labels. So it's very cool. I had my eye on this bundle right from the start when I saw it. I love tulips, and so it definitely hit my cart when it became available in the pre-order. All right, so I've gone ahead and done some die cutting already. So I've gone ahead and cut out this die from Darling Duckling, and my main card base is going to be Poppy Parade. So this is 4 1/4 by 11, and we're going to score it at 5 1/2. And as always, fold into the mountain or the raised line and give it a good burnish with your bone folder. So then my die cut piece with the tulips is going to go on, but I've gone ahead. Let's see, I've got a piece of basic white for the inside of the card. Let's put that in there so I don't use it. And now I've gone ahead and cut out, I haven't cut my my label out. Let's bring these in. like I said, I'm going to be very sorry I didn't use adhesive sheets. So if you take away anything from this video, take away that you need to have adhesive sheets. Otherwise, you're going to have very sticky fingers like I am from the glue. All right, so I'm just poking these out. I went ahead and cut because I didn't want you guys to have to watch me cut out a whole bunch of these pieces, but I didn't pop them out because I wanted you to see. They are very tiny. So this card is kind of cased from the samples that are, I'm not sure if it's in the catalog, but it's definitely on the online store when you'll be able to see it in January. So this is one of the samples. It may also be in the catalog. They've used multiple colors for the tulips, but I'm keeping them kind of consistent. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to pop, or actually I'm not going to pop. I'm going to just glue this piece on to my card base. By just putting make sure I can see comments here. Okay, so I'm going to glue this down. I'm going to have this flat. I am going to pop up some of my tulips. That. Okay. All right, now I'm going to use mini dimensionals. If I can find some here. Here they are. And I'm going to pop up some of these timid tiger tulips. That's a mouthful. Timid tiger tulips. So these are the solid tulips. So we're just going to pop some of those up in the spaces. You could adhere these flat if you wanted to. Now my sentiment's going to go in the middle, so I'm not really worried about those ones in the middle, and I will have lots left over here. All right, and then these little tiny ones, you just kind of have the outline. I'm going to use in the inside of these other tulips, and I'm going to try very hard to just put just a little bit of adhesive, of liquid glue, and those will just fit right into that opening. Like I said, sticky fingers, make sure you use adhesive sheets. Don't this would be my mother, where my mother would have said, do as I say, not as I do. Because of course I never think about it until I start cutting these out and realizing how tiny they actually are. There you go. There. Ugh. Now I've got sticky fingers, sticky glue. If you watch me, you know I don't like getting glue on my fingers, which is why I was a very late convert to using liquid glue. I have always been a Stampin' Seal, before that a snail lover, because I don't like to get glue on my fingers. But all right, so I do need to do something. Okay, we'll leave those two open for the moment. Now I want to do the same with some of these leaves that I've cut out. So I'm gonna just put the glue on. Now your Take Your Pick tool has a putty end, which comes in very handy. Let's get some of the glue. So we're just gonna take and pick up some of these pieces with that putty end, and I will try to so that's on I will try to pop these up a little bit once I get the glue on. That is hair. Not so good. All right. So I'm trying to alternate them a little bit from where I've got a solid tulip, the flower. I will use the just the kind of what I call detailed, the little outline of the so use your take your pick tool to kind of adjust it and get it into position there. All right, now this one I need. You can always, so I'm just taking and putting some glue down. It will get tacky and it makes it less sticky. And so you can kind of just take and pop those. Hopefully I've got enough cut out. I think I do. It's like the little train. So this goes pretty quickly once you get everything cut out, and they, because you have the extra dies, it makes it really easy to cut out. All right, I think I need one more. Like that. And of course, I have lost one piece of a die. All right, I'm gonna have to cut out one die extra because I've lost one of them. So if you've got a little what am I trying to say? A little bowl or some kind of container that you can put these into when you've got them cut out, so you don't lose them like I did. Oopsie. Okay, that one is there. These are one of these cards that you kind of, they do take some time, but they're so worth it when they're done because they're so pretty. And it definitely, on such a rainy day here on the West Coast, it makes you smile. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 2 outlines. There. Here. All right, now I'm just going to put these off to the side, and I do need to cut one of those when I go to cut my sentiment. So let's stamp the sentiment. I'm going to stamp it in Poppy Parade, and I'm using the sentiment that says, "If friends were flowers, I'd pick you." Isn't that lovely? There. Okay, let's move this. Bring in my little Stampin' Cut and emboss because it will fit. It's always nice when I can use it. And of course, this is too big, so I'm just going to cut because I just need one leaf. I'm going to use a little bit of Post-it note tape on this just to hold it in place. There we go. So the new catalog comes out on January 6th. If you are a demonstrator, pre-order started mid-November, so we've been having a chance to play with some of these things for a little bit of time. But for customers, it comes out on January 6th. So if you don't have a catalog yet and you'd like one, you live in Canada, I'm happy to send you one. You just need to either go to my blog and leave your name, and there's a link on my blog to request a catalog, and you can request one, and I will be happy to send you one. Only if you're not a demonstrator and if you live in Canada and you don't have a regular demonstrator that you deal with. Now I'm just going to take and try and pop up these leaves a little bit if I can, just so there's some dimension to my card. You could do this before, but I thought it might be easier to do it after I had my leaves adhered onto it. You could stamp these as well. There is stamps that you can stamp the leaves, I think. Yep. So you could stamp it rather than do all this fussiness with the die cuts. But I love die cuts. It'd be better if it was a punch. I love punches too. Ooh, that would be much cooler. I love punches. All right, there we go. Now this is going to go here in the middle like this, and I'm just going to leave those 2 tulips, I think. We'll see what we do with those 2 tulips in the top and bottom. I still have sticky fingers. Gonna try and get this sentiment somewhat centered. There we go. Under the leaf, if I can. There we go. Come on, leaf. There we go. There we go. Okay, the leaves are over top. Sentiment. I think I'm gonna just leave those 2 flowers, those 2 tulips, without anything on them. I am going to stamp on the inside of the card. So let's bring back the Poppy Parade. And I love this row of tulips. So I'm just going to take, and let's get my silicone mat so I don't stamp. So I'm going to take and stamp along the bottom. So I'm going to stamp in the middle, or as close to the middle as I can get. Isn't that fun? And then I'm gonna stamp and stamp. So I have a row of tulips across the bottom in Poppy Parade. Poppy Parade is one of my absolute favorite colors. I love orange, and so Poppy Parade is kind of that reddy orange color. Right. Now I was going to put some ribbon on. I pulled out, this is another sneak peek. This is called, it's Specialty Rick Rack in Old Olive, and it's part of the Cute as a Bug suite. It's so lovely and soft that you could easily tie a nice bow. But I think I don't know that I'm going to, I think I'm not going to put ribbon on like I was, but I am going to put, these are pearlized faceted gems. I've used them before on some of my projects where I've been showing you, what have I been playing with? Oh, the Simply Beautiful. So I am going to use these. These are Calypso Coral, but they go really nicely with Timid Tiger. So sentiments or embellishments, even though they say they're a specific color, they can pretty much go with any color or any close colors. So you can mix and match your sentiments. Let's pop these leaves up if I can get them. Yeah. There we go. All right. there we go. I think that's a very pretty color in Poppy Parade and Timid Tiger and Old Olive. Again, a bit fussy, so if you're not into fussy, you could stamp instead of die cutting, but I love the popped up images. Right, and then that lovely little row of tulips along the bottom. All right, hope you enjoyed that sneak peek. I love tulips, hope you do too. So tomorrow I will be live at 12 noon with another project. So gonna do another sneak peek from the upcoming catalog. So come join me at 12 o'clock and hopefully you're able to spend a little bit of time in your craft room. Hopefully the holiday season hasn't got you so chaotic that you don't get to spend a little bit of time for yourself. All right, until tomorrow, hope you have a great day. Happy stamping, everybody. Bye.